Welcome, everyone. We are beginning our gathering here today on August 26th at 2 p.m. Let's all take a nice deep breath together and ground ourselves as we take what I call our roll call. When I strike this on the third time, I'd like each woman to say her name 3 times. Jan, Jan, Jan. Did you hear that beautiful song that we played on the screen share? I'd forgotten some of those verses, and this is the sound of one voice stepping out of fear. That is us. This week, the last week, have you felt the escalation, the stair stepping of placing you on your platform of courage and the willingness to claim fulfilling your promise? I did a program earlier this week and it was called Claiming Your Crown. I kind of like that too, but that's a different topic. So welcome everyone. I appreciate all those that are joining us today and those that came last week. We have a beautiful program for you. We have Marla Durden here. Marla, can you give a little wave here? She's the Modern Root Woman, and she will give us our sacred drop-in ritual. Then the Soar organization, I'm going to do a PowerPoint, and it's going to give you some structure and bones to ground some of the esoteric principles that I say for creating the new paradigm. So we're going to have a little left brain PowerPoint. How do you form a circle or a center? So you're going to see it, and that's going to help align some of these thoughts. Then we have a song by Consuelo Luz, just a very, very bright being, alchemical vocalist, a social activist, and a sound healer that I've known for years and had the opportunity to work with. Just what I call a bell, a resonant bell of truth, light, and love, a bell of change. And what's so cute is we are bells, we're women, we're bells of the ball. We are queens of the new party, and we are holding in our absolute vibrational field of courage right now. So we'll be talking about that, and some of the speakers will be talking about that, about our leadership styles and how to work through fear. And now's a good time to tell you who is with us here today, Sahar Nafal. You know her as the queen of building community in so many effervescent ways, putting women on stages, helping them overcome their fear and get into community. And she recently has had a beautiful new spiritual download. I love that language. That's our language. Just when you're not sure what to do next, there it is. If you're listening and you're asking. So she is going to bring a new framework for figuring out what type of leader you are, your personality, what the clothing is for it, and the next steps to stand on your platform of your mastery, standing in a circle with other empowered women and women helping those not quite confident to become empowered together. The theme of these two gatherings is we are better together. Then lastly, we will have a sharing. And sometimes I feel that's the most important part. We're in a webinar format, so there are certain limitations, but we've bumped it up the best we can to turn the speakers into panelists, into co-hosts. And at a certain point in the program, and I'll give you a hint in case you're in your pajamas, after Consuelo Luz sings, Lynn Sagan, our beautiful tech person, hey Lynn, will be bringing each of you in as a panelist. And we will be asking who would like to chime in, who has a question, who has an experience to share. So I've set aside some time on that. And that's so we can see your bright faces. The last time I pressed speaker or gallery and I could see your faces. And we want everyone to have a sense of that you showed up, you brought your energy. We want to be inclusive and see the community together. So you also have the option of using your finger. Anytime you want to see the speaker, the person speaking, you have that ability, or a gallery view to see everybody. And if you want to see somebody's new haircut or something, I'll give you a secret. You pin them. I always pin people. What's she look like? You know, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and no one will know you're pinning someone. So there. I think that's kind of funny. Well, of course, because she's my precious daughter, I'm saving her to the end of the program. Her name is Katie Sircone. She is in Brooklyn, New York, so we make a straight line across of energy of the United States. She does a yoga class. Well, it's for people my age, gentle, and her Aunt Martha does it, and her mom does it at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can find out more about that by going on Katie Sircone at Facebook. But the other day, I almost cried. She's a yogini, a performance artist, an author, a scholastic feminist author, a curator of hip hop events and music in Brooklyn. And as she was finishing yoga, she became a spiritual teacher in my ears through the divine feminine archetypes. So we will finish today with her beautiful, brilliant frequencies of toning Ma. And this daughter of mine was a soloist in the Santa Rosa Children's Chorus. So her voice will float us into the angelic realms. So this is also very exciting. And again, thank you for joining us today. I'd like to take just a moment. The last gathering we had was very yin, and we had Katie Ketchum talk about using music to be a leader and hold your platform. We had Lisa Young embody the divine feminine. And then we had Linda Albright talk about new sustainable ways of living. So today, with the more practical, grounded PowerPoint and figuring out who you are, we're moving more into a practical, grounded sense. So why are we having these gatherings in the first place? I myself have been prompted, actually had a beautiful intuitive reading with Soar, and she says, you've been planting those roots down too long. You got to get your voice out and blossom. And I said, okay. So we are better together. We ignite and activate each other. We are in a pandemic where they have us in our homes, but guess what? We have more reach now than ever through the ethers, through the Zoom rooms. So I am so happy to create this opportunity to support you, to step up and lead. We all need some tweaking. We all have different strengths, and sometimes we need support to master our toolkit or the know-how to move forward. We are creating a new infrastructure system of support to keep our vibrations high in a dissolving, chaotic world, so we can be a bridge of how to co-create through our thoughts and intention, through our voice, and holding that field. It's a pretty tall order, but if you're here, you know you were born to do it, and you are in the right place. So again, thank you for coming. The concepts and templates that I'm bringing forth today, you will be able to find on Facebook, the Soar Voice of Truth Initiative. Now, my sister Martha today said, oh, but I can't share it. And I said, this is not a public seminar. This is by invitation, by those that resonate and are magnetized to what I have initiated, and the other women who are holding their platforms with their mastery with similar resonance. You are a leader. You have done much inner healing and work. And I am here in Sahar and Katie Ketchum, and to help you get on your platform with confidence and speak and be who you were meant to be. Without further ado, we're going to drop in now into that sacred space, which is a gift of the divine feminine energy field. Marla Durden is a multidisciplinary artist, healer, and entrepreneur. She has facilitated circles and transformational life experience for individuals and groups for 20 years. I met her at the Women of Wisdom conference, and boy, does she know what she's doing. She's an interplay leader in training. Marla has performed interplay in Seattle, Toronto, Canada, Parliament of World Religions. She brings her deep connection to the spirit of the ancestors and expertise in using simple rituals, sacred geometry, quantum coherence, and the power of intention. This is my language, to create sacred space where anything is possible. And this is my introduction. She is a modern root woman grounded in truth, beauty, and love, with a huge mastery of this life, with so much to share. Please welcome Marla Durden.
Thank you very much. That's quite a build-up. Thank you so much, Jan. I'm so happy to be here with you all. As we're seeing Hurricane Laura kind of rolling in, we're a little bit dark here, so it's interesting. And I will say, I spoke to Jan earlier, and I told her I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this earlier, as I am preparing to leave Houston, where my mother has lived, who passed away 3 months ago. Tomorrow, we buried her 3 months ago, today, actually. And in my deep grief, I realized that's what we do as women. We just show up. We bring all of ourselves. And so I'm showing up here with you to drop in as a leader, as we all are, with all of myself, knowing that all of who I am brings everything that I need. So if you wouldn't mind with me, let's take a few moments just to really bring ourselves here. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your bottom in the chair. And allow your breath to be soft and deep, feeling yourself breathing into your belly. Into that place, the sacred womb, where all life begins. And feel your feet on the floor. Feel yourself deeply rooted. Feeling yourself sinking, being held, being loved by the earth itself. And really allow yourself to receive the support and the love that is here for you. Allowing your breath to be long and deep. You said yes. You said yes to being here. You said yes to yourself. Feel yourself relaxing into that yes. Opening into that yes. And with your feet on the floor connected to earth, just like trees. In a forest, trees can be miles and miles apart, but through the root system, through the mycelium, they can speak to each other and support each other. So in the mycelium that is the earth, that is the sacred ground that we share here through this Soar event, feel the connection. I'm in Houston. Some of us are in Seattle, in New York. Feel the connection like a sacred grove. Though it may seem that I stand alone, I am not alone. We are together. Feel the connection. And I invite you to close your eyes if your eyes are not closed, and take in this poem that I'm going to read to you. It is when we are able to relax into ourselves, relax into and trust all of the grandmothers who have gone before us, who live within us, that we open to greater source, beauty, love, power. So I invite you to relax into this knowing, into the riverbed of your being. Riverbed. Looking through time's wide open eye, I remember what it feels like to be braided into the length of a body, to be poured into flesh form, and to breathe the exact number of breaths I have been given without ever knowing what that number is. Sometimes we wake up all at once. Every cell housed in our skin summons the way back home to now, that opens into forever without ever knowing how long forever is. Love caught me. Love without a face or even a song or word. It was love like water that caught me as I fell easily into myself, the way a riverbed catches a stone. Take a nice long deep breath in.
We now take the steps to claim to the world. Repeat with me. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am loving. I am loving. I am talented. I am talented. I am spiritual. I am spiritual. I am strong. I am strong. I am generous. I am generous. These envelopes were the mantra of a young woman in the grips of anorexia and bulimia who thought she didn't deserve to live. These cards that represent the vibration of the divine feminine and the letters that she wrote gave her the core determination to become these values, and we build ourselves upon these core values. Let's take a deep breath and embody these vibrations deeply, deeply into our heart. Marla, I know that you have some wonderful offerings coming up. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you and say just a little bit about what is coming up. You're in transition, and yet in this depth of grief, some huge doors have blown open. So go ahead and talk about what you're doing, and Lynn's going to put a screen share with your beautiful flyer you created.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My co-facilitator and myself, Tracy Joy Miller, have had the great honor of sharing our work, the restoration of joy, at Ghost Ranch over New Year's Eve of last New Year's Eve. It was very successful, and we are going to be doing it online for them starting in September. And we're very, very excited. The restoration of joy is really a transformational event, and we work with people to help not only remove the scaffolding, the rust that kind of gets in the way of life, but really help people to reconnect with that which brings us joy, and to know that joy is available even in our grief and our sadness, whatever is going on. We have the opportunity to be in joy and to find that part of ourselves that can laugh freely and can play and love and knows where we are going and who we are. So that's what I'm doing at Ghost Ranch starting next month. And I will put a link to the flyer in the chat.
Yes, be sure and do that. In fact, anyone can add links in. I encourage all the panelists, and some of our guests today as well can put links in. Thank you, Marla.
Thank
I
you.
know that I chose the absolutely correct person for that invocation. That's usually the part I do, so handing that over. Hey, there you go, sister.
Thank you.
I knew you could nail it. So I want to take my part now of helping you create circles and centers as part of feminine leadership in action. What are the words? One day I listed all the C's and I got tired of listing them. Collaborative, connective, communicative, co-creation. All of these words build the Soar vision, and then more C's, building circles and centers. And so people hear me say this, and I actually have a wonderful screen share in just a moment that I'm going to share with you. Oh, I love it when tech works. I just have to pinch myself. Okay. So these are the things that I have been working with for many years now. And funny, but I don't think we need to buy a big center in France anymore. I think we're doing this all in the etheric over the internet and connectivity. Soar circles and centers, templates for building the new paradigm through new structures, the feminine way. That's the goal of Soar, to share and grow through the circles and centers using 3 modalities: the arts, sustainable living principles, and leadership opportunities and leadership support. So let's talk about circles. Right now, women are isolated. They have these spiritual experiences. I heard someone, their family even put them in a psychiatry unit when they said they had an alien visitation. And in the future, that won't be so, but it's a place to share our feelings, ideas, and visions in a safe place. Why? Because you're in a resonant circle and these people at your level of development. You can be witnessed and honored as a change agent, have deep support, and create new outcomes together. It's no accident that the whole design for the planet is actually the flower of life. Imagine that you and your voice are holding a vortex in one of those circles, but actually it overlaps in someone else's circle. So Sahar's standing in the middle of one of those. I'm standing in one of the middle, but we collaborate and strengthen and support each other, all raising our vibration and connectivity. So my sister's a therapist. She says, Jan, this is great, but people don't know what you mean when you say start a circle. So essentially, you're going to identify women that you like, you resonate with, and you invite them. You can set a get acquainted time with each potential member. 3 to 9 members is ideal. Set a weekly or monthly time to meet for 1 hour or so. I recently took 2 complete strangers who I felt would benefit, and I know they're on the call today, and I might bring them up later if it works. One is driving, but the other one will be able to speak up. And I put them together, and I went on the first Zoom, and I laid this out, and they have become the fastest uh, friends and support team. And I see that their energy is expanding to invite other people as well. So how to create these Soar centers. The template for a powerful meeting is to have a welcome, usually by the leader, then a deep sharing, which is timed, loosely timed. In the group that I have created, I call it the council. If someone just says a little bit, they say, I donate my time to the group, because often a person is suffering. We then find the connections everyone shares. We find the connection with that, and we drop into a meditation for relief, better outcomes, and more clarity. It is not a it's very therapeutic, but it's not a therapy group. So we keep the focus on being a positive witness growth with respectful boundaries. We don't give advice. We don't need know-it-alls. We just want witnessed. We don't fix each other. We don't suddenly turn the group into, well, let's all pray for you specifically because you're a mess this week. We truly just supportive listening. And guess what? The next week, somebody else is on the hot seat. So it would become a therapy group if we didn't keep those boundaries. During the meditation part, drop into a sacred space, take a breath, whatever you choose. We take turns leading on our meditation to build our leadership ability. We bring our personal and global intentions for good outcomes into the meditation, and we use sound and ritual and breathing to drop into a soul space. I specifically use the Be the Light process that I've used for years. It's a 3-step process. All you have to do is email me, and I'll send you a card and also hook you up to a YouTube so you can do it right along with me. It is a very simple, very profound way to drop into that meditative space. So a woman who creates a group has a resonance and a magnetism that attracted other people in that kind of resonate with her energetic field and intention. So look over on the left, that you're creating this group. You hold the maypole. Then you attract other women that come in that enhance, but do not try to take your place in the middle in the maypole. Often women come into groups and they feel kind of, oh, gee, I wish I had this group, and they try to be smarty pants and they kind of push the leader off of the platform instead of enhancing and saying, would you like to sit in my center in this moment and teach or lead the meditation? And then you retake your space. It is communication, it is boundaries, it is integrity and respectful. And this is how we create the new paradigm over on the right. The new paradigm is each of us standing in our leadership power, being asked to come and stand in other people's circle, and then holding our own circle powerfully. This is our council one morning in OT. And we have 7. And guess what? Sometimes only 3 come. And it's so powerful because Spirit is called those beings to come that day to share and work through a specific holding pattern that women have carried as an archetype that we heal through us. We are circuit boards, volunteer surrogates for the clearing of long time stuck, unaligned energies through the feminine, and we are bringing through very high vibrations to clear it out. So we're free. So we are free and feel safe in that freedom. Support circles do this and more. Okay, so we're going to move on to, and all of this is at the Facebook Soar Voice of Truth Initiative. I've created templates there. They're called units. All you have to do is go there, make a copy. If you see anything on this screen, go ahead and do a screenshot. How to create a Soar center? Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be a center. It could just be an extra bedroom in your house, or it could be a large retreat center that you and your husband have been running for 20 years. You take people in and you have an exchange that you get to steer. Someone has resonated and wants to come spend time with you. You set the price, the when, everything works for you and the person. You're sharing your life experience through arts, culture, food, however you want to set it up. You might provide a class, education, or event. It is a sacred, safe, sane experience in an ever chaotic world. So I seem to have a little stuckaroo problem here. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. The idea is to encourage visitations and exchanges and ultimately more affordable, supportive, communal living situations. Because as women meet each other and they're finding the resources and social financial systems aren't meeting their needs, money goes further when you are sharing with others, and not everybody has to own the lawnmower. There can be communal kitchens. This is how indigenous people lived in sustainable ways. So I'm beginning to make a list, compiling here on my website. I have a web page dedicated and has information on there of how to, it's Sound and Light, healingarts.com. And before we end, I'll put some more links there. But you can start pulling together. Do I want a Soar woman to come visit me? And who would I like to go visit? This is like our own little travel agent of a very high vibrational field. So think about this. You are creating a supportive circle. Maybe you've made a center for your home. Now think about how you can form and implant yourself in the world and in other people's minds, that you have mastery over a specific gift that you are courageously stepping up to share. So this is called creating your own platform or home. And I put this in here because some of you are right in the middle. You take your gifts, you've learned mastery, you are claiming that you are a master or just about a master at this, and SpaghettiOs. Okay. So you're going to be offering classes and events as an advisor. So eventually I'm going to create a Soar directory. But guess what? I personally don't want to do that since we're better together. I'm going to have someone else step up who likes doing that. And I do see the Soar as founder of a Soar that I am a hub of exchange and facilitation, but I'm not the end all. I'm asking for other people to take pieces of this work in their hands and work with it. This was created with Santon de la Vie and Karen Jackson. And we got together and we said, well, what is our role as women, as transitional agents from the old to the new paradigm? We are builders of the new paradigm, leadership, healing, arts, sustainable living. We are the bridge builders, the meters, the greeters, transition teams. And I know that each of you has a role and a gift that fits into this model. So my role is a cheerleader, to help you start thinking about these new structures if they resonate with you. So when there's a center exchange, you're pretty much just being yourself, doing what you do. Activities, make up. You should taste Sahar's Palestinian cooking. Man, does it just is like home, baby. It just the spices and she's invited us over in her groups in her home, and we know her heart. Then if you sing a culture's music, you can never have negative thoughts about those people once you sing their music. So these are different ways we can have these exchanges. And here's a delightful woman, Sarah Boyd. Sarah, I hope you're on the call today, who's created a retreat center. And we've been in communication for years, and I just interviewed her. And her center is around music and tone and playing the lyre. It's in Brittany, France, ladies. All right, let's get a list. Let's sign up after the pandemic and go. She has beautiful accommodations. And she began music at age 50. So there you go. So this plan came to me as a vision about a decade ago, and Soar is a bigger part of the reclaiming of planet Earth by benevolent beings. So we women are really performing an important role here. So watch the Facebook page, updates, charts, interviews, keep in touch. I'll be interviewing more, lots of different things, resources like this to help you just keep thinking and learning and joining in, and there'll be educations. For years, I did circles in Marin County. It was really fabulous with amazing women, and that was the preparation of meeting, aligning, expanding our experiences and consciousness. We have fun and create. And all of this is a new feminine model, a new feminine model. So I believe we're at the end of this. Oh, over the years, I've made so many charts just to prove it can happen. You know, the left brain part. And there are some of the amazing women that I've gotten to know and work with. There we go. Okay, Soar Women's Leadership. I'm going to stop the share now and come back. And we are now ready to introduce Consuelo. Flew to the floor. All that soaring, it's just the introductory sheet. So go ahead and give Consuelo the spotlight. She's so sparkly and beautiful. I want to introduce Consuelo Luz. She lives in New Mexico. She is a vocal alchemist, an intuitive coach, a grandma like me, an ambassador, I can't say it. I made up this word. An ambassadress, a feminine ambassador towards political and social justice. She is on public stages all the time in New Mexico singing for social justice in all different languages. Please welcome Consuelo Luz.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to be here, Jen, after all these years. It's just wonderful, the work you've been doing, and you finally came out with it in this big way. I really appreciate it because we really need this kind of help and coordination and collaboration. So before